Welcome back. We're here to continue our reflections. It's a very beautiful day. They're setting up for a parish festival, so you might hear some banging and clanging outside today. Sorry, it can't be helped, but we're happy to have the festival going again. We missed it 2 years for the pandemic. So the last 2 years, this year and last year, we have been the resumption of it. Had this festival here at St. Mary's for 50 years. This is the 51st one, I think. I don't know how they're counting since we missed 2 years, so we'll see. Okay, so we're going to continue with our reflections with a very challenging reading, and Teresa's going to continue from Matthew's Gospel.
A reading from the Holy Gospel according to Matthew. At that time, Jesus withdrew to the region of Tyre and Sidon. And behold, a Canaanite woman of that district came and called out, "Have pity on me, Lord, Son of David. My daughter is tormented by a demon." But Jesus did not say a word in answer to her. Jesus' disciples came and asked him, "Send her away, for she keeps calling out after us." He said in reply, "I was only sent to the lost sheep of the house of Israel." But the woman came and did Jesus homage, saying, "Lord, help me." He said in reply, "It is not right to take the food of the children and throw it to the dogs." She said, "Please, Lord, for even the dogs eat the scraps that fall from the table of their masters." Then Jesus said to her in reply, "O woman, great is your faith. Let it be done for you as you wish." And the woman's daughter was healed from that hour. The Gospel of the Lord.
Praise to you, Lord Jesus Christ. So I say this is a very challenging reading because most of us are like, why is Jesus talking to her this way? What is going on? Don't get caught up in that when too much. When you read these gospel passages, you're usually, if we get distracted to the point of why is he saying it this way, in any gospel reading, we tend to miss the point, and the point is that the woman's faith is great. You miss what he says to her next. "Woman, great is your faith." Now, we have this in stark contrast to yesterday's gospel, and yet it's Monday of the 19th week. So we just read over the weekend, the 19th. Is it 19th Sunday? 19th Sunday yesterday. They go in order when I get them mixed up still. The 19th Sunday, when he says to Peter, "Oh, you of little faith." So he says to one of his most strongest and most courageous followers, why is your faith so little? And he says to this Canaanite woman, who the Canaanites and the Jews did not quite get along very well, to put it lightly, he says, "Great is your faith." And he points out that you can be somebody who knows Jesus, who follows the teachings of Jesus, who follows the teachings of the church, who goes to Mass, goes to daily Mass, whatever, does everything right, and still lack faith. It happens to us all. And yet you can be a person who maybe even doesn't come here, is not part of our following, and have great faith. It's a very, very, very challenging thing for us to deal with. And some people might disagree with what I just said, that, oh, no, you can't, it's not possible, but it is. The way in which she approaches him is one that's very interesting, because it's not a matter of her having it perfect, and it's not a matter of her saying, "I did all of these things, so now I'm owed this," which is the pitfall for any religious person or any person who works in a parish or any person who is a priest. And I did this, I gave up this, so now I'm owed. It's a horrible, horrible trap of all people who might be considered religious people. So we wrestle with that. We fight against it. She comes not being a member, acknowledges his Jewishness by calling him Son of David, and then so recognizes him, is persistent in going to him. She lets her come to him, and then she says, something, and then he responds, well, it's not for the dogs. And I think he uses the word in Greek for little pet dog, not like a street dog. Like a little pet dog, which is a little bit better. But it's still an awful thing to say to somebody now, and it might have even been a worse insult in Jesus' time to call somebody a dog. It may have been common, but it might have been a much worse thing than we realize just from our own understanding of it here. Now, her response is so perfect, but even the dogs wait for the scraps. Is that how it goes, Teresa? Even the dogs wait for the scraps from their master's table. She replies not with any selfish or self-righteous indignation, not with any, well, how dare you kind of a thing. She says, I need your help, and just continues to pleadingly devalue herself to get what she needs for her daughter. So it's one of those amazing moments that is so hard for us. Our pride is often so great that when we meet a challenge, when we have situations come up in the parish where people maybe haven't been honest, or they've gotten into their ministry in a way that's unhealthy, and the correction comes and how dare you, I've been doing this for 20 years, that kind of thing happens all the time. So we need to be aware of that, and we don't want our pride to get up so great that we then cannot achieve the good that we desire by asking God for help. I'm owed this, God, so do this for me. Very hideous way to approach prayer. It doesn't work, by the way, either. You're asking for trouble when you ask for something in that kind of a way. So we keep in mind that this woman has great gifts. The other thing is that in one of the commentaries I was reading, I don't remember which one, but at one time it suggests that this was a much more playful conversation than it seems by the words. Jesus was probably smiling. I said this during last week. You can say him looking at Peter going, oh, come on, you have little faith, why did you doubt, when he sunk into the water. And with this woman you can say, yes, but I'm not going to give this to the dogs. It's for the house of Israel. I mean, why would I give this to the dogs? And you can almost see that maybe he was trying to encourage her to see where her wits would take her in her response to him. I don't know. It's not there, but you can kind of see some of that playfulness elsewhere in Jesus' words too, that might have been present here too. So we enter into our dialogue with God in that same way, persistently, as this woman was, cheerfully in some sense, if that's true, that there was a playfulness in these words, and also ready to put away our pride, to save somebody else that we love, to save our child's life while we get over our pride, to save our own life while we get over our pride, to live a Christian life while we get over our own pride. And it's a challenging gospel reading. I've often said this, and I think I've said this on here a couple weeks ago, and it came up in the reading today for the daily mass, is that we don't give any thought to who we're offending a lot of the time. Some people apologize for offending people that they didn't even come close to offending, and that's a problem. But yet others will kind of say to someone who's offended to them, well, it's your fault, if you were smart enough to agree with me, you wouldn't be offended. So somewhere in the middle the truth lies, where we don't have to say we're sorry for things that we didn't do, and then at the same time we have to be very aware that anything that causes division and offense we stay away from. Meanwhile, we have this conversation which is kind of shocking, because Jesus pushes her in a way that seems offensive, but it elicits this tremendous response of faith and wit. It's a kind of a delightful scene in that sense. All right, so I don't know that we'll go on too much. Teresa, did I get all the points that I wanted to? I guess we're all right. And enjoy the beautiful weather here if you're in this part of the world. But if not, if you're in a place where the weather has been more extreme, please be careful and know of our support and our prayers. So take good care, and we will talk to you next week.